This is part two of our series on what is religion. I decided to do this as a part two just because of the level of detail we will go into as to how the evolution of religion has happened, coming to what we now call as Hinduism, and giving an appreciation and having an appreciation and understanding of how that has evolved into this, and also clarifying the real meaning of Sanatana Dharma. What exactly does it mean versus just giving it a label definition as eternal? No, beyond that, what exactly is it? Let's look at it. If you see the evolution of religion, there was the prehistoric religion, as I call it, prehistoric. Many could call it, well, was it the religion of the tribes? Or in India, many would say, was it the religion of Adivasis or prehistoric tribal folks who lived in the forest and stuff? I'll keep it simple. Let's just call it prehistoric religion. You had that where there was a lot of gratitude. The main focus was gratitude. And remember, as I go through the evolution of religion, I'm going to give you what was the main focus. So with the prehistoric religion, the main focus was gratitude. And there was a gratitude towards the trees, the plants, the animals, gratitude towards ancestors, gratitude towards elders. There wasn't this bigger concept or broader concept of God or divine or any of that. There was just this concept of, around me, I see trees, plants, animals, I see people, I see my elders, my ancestors. Let me be gracious towards them. So the whole focus of worship was having that sense of gratitude. Prehistoric. Then we come into the Vedic times where the Vedas emerged. Vedas are a culmination or a combination of different aspects, rituals, practices, geography, explaining concepts of astronomy, explaining concepts of science. There's a whole video we are doing on eclipses, and you will see how it links to the Vedas. So all of this came out of the Vedic aspect of religion, and we call it the Vedic religion as the next step of progression. And in Vedic religion, this continuation of gratitude happened. But now the gratitude moved on to other aspects of divinity, which is looking at the 8 elements that we covered when we spoke about the divine. So the focus was now gratitude towards those 8 elements. That is where sacrifices, yajna happened more. So sacrifices and giving oblations to sun, to earth, to water, all of this start to wind, all of this to the natural elements. So the focus was yajna or sacrifices, oblations to the natural elements, was what happened during the Vedic religion or the second phase of religion. Part of the Vedas, towards the end of the Vedas, there was this philosophical and completely spiritual learning called the Upanishads, which is the foundation of this channel, along with the Gita. The religion after the Vedic religion that emerged was all around Vedantic, or the end of the Vedas. Vedantic, all focused on knowledge, where knowledge was the primary aspect of religion. Inquiry, debate, philosophical insights, asking why, knowing more about why, knowing more about the how, not just the what, knowing more about the how. That was the focus of the Vedantic religion. And all of the aspects were towards that. Gratitude was understood from inquiry, and through that it became a natural act. It wasn't about what to do, it was about how to do it, why to do it, which, by the way, is the fundamental nature of the Upanishads and the Gita. As I've always said on this channel many times, And that's been the focus of this channel. That will be the focus of this channel, where we will focus more on inquiry, discussion, debate, having the discriminative mindset to decipher and inquire and seek to learn the truth. That is the Vedantic religion that happened. So 3 already we covered: prehistoric, Vedic, Vedantic. Then emerged the 4th stage of religion, evolution, called the Puranic religion. This was all about storytelling, Puranas, ancient books. Because the Vedic Vedantic religion was tough to communicate, you needed a lot of effort in understanding. Puranic religion focused on storytelling, building stories to support some of the aspects of gratitude, building stories to support some of the aspects of oblations, building stories to support the aspects of philosophy. So everything was around a story form. So the terms you would hear even now are katha, stories, pravachanam, discourses, shravanam, listening. Mananam is different. That is about contemplating and reflecting once you listen. So Shravanam became very important, listening became very important, Katha, Pravachanam, all are emerged in the Puranic phase of religion. And those continue even now because it spread to the masses. It was easy to communicate to the masses. And you used to have this sessions in the evening. Even now you would have the common term used is Harikatha. Harikathas were exactly that. Sessions in the evening where you go work during the day, and in the evening you're listening to things being told to you in a story format. Then came the 5th type of religion, which is called Hinduism, or the classic religion. We call it the classical religion. What the classical religion did is it continued on this ability or this intention of going to the masses. And it took sprinkles of all the other 4, took sprinkles of prehistoric, took sprinkles of the Vedic, took elements of the Vedantic, took elements of the Puranic, combined it all together, and started spreading it into masses. That is essentially the classical religion or the Hinduism that we now are familiar with. So the aspects that had to be inculcated here were bhakti or devotion. So now it moved from gratitude and inquiry and debate into saying, look, there are those entities out there that are very divinistic in nature. Our role is to have devotion towards those elements. There was a lot of personification, or the personal form emerged. You started personifying different aspects, giving it a name and shape, name and form, nama, rupa, to all these different divine elements. And each one was given a name of a god or a deva or a deity. And that was the focus of this classical religion. So that you could connect, you could devote, you could have bhakti towards it. Bhajans, singing, kirtans, expressing devotion, having get-togethers, satsang became very common. Music and dance became part of religion because it was an easy way by which you could connect to individuals. You could put them into the same zone. When you're listening to a melodious song or music, you fall into the zone. And if hundreds fall into that same zone, then everyone is in that same mode and focusing on what is being communicated, either through the tune of that music or through the lyrics of that music or whatever it could be. So music and dance became center stage with that. Things moved to a lot into symbolism of everything, symbolism of the natural elements. Even now, when you see a Hindu priest performing a ritual, you would see the priest offering symbolic gestures towards those natural elements. So symbolism became the key in this classical religion. And participation grew because now you could now start extending, moving to the edge of spreading religion through this symbolic approach. So that became classical religion or Hinduism as we know. So 5 stages: prehistoric, Vedic, Vedantic, Puranic, and classical religion. Participation grew. If you think about it, in the Vedic religion, it was in the prehistoric, very small set, clearly. Tribal, it was very limited to folks living in forests, living in those type of things. Vedic became a little bit bigger, started spreading as humanity started spreading, as individuals started migrating, exploring new surfaces and everything, it spread along with them. Vedantic became very narrow because now you needed to have a philosophical inquiry mindset, spend time in understanding the philosophical aspects. Just take at this channel itself. The fact that you are investing time, I'm investing time, takes effort here, that we have to spend time understanding these concepts. So Vedantic religion definitely took a lot of effort. So the participation was limited. Puranic just grew. It spread everywhere. Storytelling was much easier to communicate. It also brought in diversity along with it. Different tradesmen, different individuals from different geographies, different ethnicities were all able to come together and listen to the same story. So Puranic started spreading more to the masses. Classical, which is the current form of Hinduism, spread even more. Reason is, again, the Bhakti movement gave you a common approach of devotion. Doesn't matter who you are, as long as you are devoted, as long as you think there is a divine out there in a personal form, connect to the divine. So it spread more into the masses, spread into all communities. It also drove really equality or a sense of commonality in the human race. It started wiping out the divisions of classes, the divisions of jati, as they call it, started wiping out, bringing individuals together. The temple movement picked up. Temples got established significantly. Now folks could go into a temple and folks could construct temples. Different communities started constructing their own temples, putting their own deity into a temple. So the commonality started getting established and participation grew in the classical religion. So modern Hinduism is really this classical religion that we're talking about. It's a culmination where multiple streams have converged and it continues to evolve. Let me give you a simple example. A lot of what I'm sharing clearly applies to overseas Indians, but it also applies to Indians living in India. But think about it. At one time, even like 10 years ago, it would have been almost like an unacceptable fact that you would do Hindu rituals over a digital mode, like doing a ritual, like offering a fire sacrifice or a homam, as it is called. Homa, homam, havan, whichever language you want to use. Offering that was something you would do in person, sitting in front of a priest. Today in this digital world, the priest probably is sitting somewhere doing it, and you're watching it on a virtual mechanism. On the internet, could be Teams, Zoom, Skype, whatever it is, whatever format you may be using. So this was something that was unacceptable or even unthinkable 10 years ago. But now it's becoming commonplace. You watch a priest offering puja at a temple. You're watching it on your mobile phone. Earlier, you were going there. You are performing some services in that temple just by sponsoring and paying through your credit card without actually you being physically there. Things that were not even anticipated or accepted several years ago. So it's evolving. It's adapting and evolving based on times. And it's a culmination where merges happen. Water streams are all combining, and new water streams are combining and merging and flowing in one river format here. That is what's called Sanatana Dharma. The actual meaning of Sanatana Dharma is it is eternal, it continues to be eternal. It is not steady, but it's very dynamic, and it keeps on capturing what's coming down to the ages and what's being propagated through the ages. That is the classical Hinduism that we are now accustomed to, or that we see. Being true to the other aspects of how religion has evolved, particularly the Vedantic aspect, which tells you how to think, becomes even more important as the evolution of this religion continues.